What name is guy? Itauma. Moses Itauma. I think he's a great fighter. The young, 20 years, yeah?
20.
Yeah, 20 years. I think Itauma have big future.
People are saying you're hyping this guy too much. You seem ready for all of them. Are you ready for all of them?
What do you reckon, Gareth?
I think you're ready.
Right, that would, garner him, and get him the experience he needs to compete with a Usyk, right? But right now it's just not the time. I just think it's just too early.
We're doing what we've got to do in our own time and our own fashion. I think anybody he hits, anybody in the heavyweight division, if he catches him, he'd do some damage. And if he caught Usyk, he'd knock Usyk out.
Oleksandr Usyk's immediate reaction to Moses Itauma's call-out after destroying Dillian Whyte showed a hint of unease. Usyk tried to brush it off, but the truth is clear. Moses' challenge is real, bold, and dangerous. That knockout has forced Usyk to face a rising storm.
Oleksandr Usyk, next reaction to that?
I want to do it as well, but it's not in my hands, is it?
Would you fight him?
Of course.
And Usyk's next words make his hesitation even clearer. Usyk's response carries confidence. He knows his experience and skill are unmatched, yet even he admits Moses is already on his radar. Imagine the spectacle. Usyk's masterful boxing IQ against Moses' raw power and fearlessness. If this clash happens, it could be the biggest fight in heavyweight boxing.
I'm a little bit tired, I wanna home.
You're going to rest now. There's already a tweet gone out from you saying, maybe I fight Moses Itauma as well. Is that true?
I don't know. Listen, I don't know because now I wanna think what next.
Moses Itauma shows no fear. He openly says he wants Usyk next, studying him to find weaknesses. That's the hunger of a future champion. Usyk brings legacy, Moses brings youth and fire. If these two collide, it won't just be a fight, it'll be heavyweight history in the making.
Oleksandr Usyk, would you prefer to spend time with him in his training camp for his next fight, or fight him next?
Fight him next, then spend time with him.
April, May, it's Dubois, or April, May, it's Usyk. You say immediately yes?
Of course.
And soon, legends of the sport start weighing in on whether this clash should happen now. Amir Khan advises patience, saying Moses shouldn't rush into Usyk, but that's exactly what makes this fight electric, youth chasing greatness. Moses is just 20, Usyk's at the top of the mountain. If they clash now, it could be the ultimate test of generations.
Who do you want to see? Obviously, Turk Al-Sheikh was saying Oleksandr Usyk.
No, you know what? You don't want to rush him. You want to take it easy. You want to take it slow. Don't rush him. Let him enjoy. He's still 20 years old. Let him get to 22, 23 years old. That's when you start putting him in with the top names in boxing, like the Usyks and...
Tyson Fury cuts straight to the truth. Boxing is a young man's game. Usyk might be the reigning king, but Fury believes Moses Itauma would wreck him. That's a massive statement, and it shows how dangerous this fight could be. On one side, Usyk's skill and legacy; on the other, Moses' speed, power, and youth. If these two meet, it's not just a fight, it's a generational war, a true passing of the torch moment in heavyweight boxing.
Boxing's a young man's game and he waits for nobody. So here's the opinion, you've heard it here first. Moses Itauma will wreck all them old men out of the division. Usyk, AJ, Miller, whoever there is who's old, Zhang, fucking whoever else there is, Luis Ortiz, all these big names of the past are all a spent force. And even the world champion now, if they took my belts and give them to Usyk, Moses will wreck him. Because he's a young man versus an old man. An old man can't mess with young men.
And even promoters and analysts can't ignore the potential of this blockbuster showdown. Frank Warren breaks it down perfectly. Moses Itauma has already shown he's not just a knockout artist, but someone who can go rounds and still carry his power. That's the type of fighter who could really trouble Oleksandr Usyk. Usyk has proven himself as a master technician, the man who dismantled Joshua and outboxed giants. But Warren points out that Moses brings something different. raw youth, hunger, and the ability to deliver on the biggest stages. Imagine Usyk's masterful skill and defensive wizardry, going toe-to-toe with Moses' ruthless finishing power. This is the kind of fight that defines Arid, and that's why Warren hints at the real excitement, not just seeing Moses against any contender, but testing him against the very best in Usyk. If this happens, it's not just hype, it's the perfect storm.
I'm talking about with somebody who doesn't fiddle around, somebody who actually would like to get him in the latter rounds and is capable of knocking people over. You know, he's a puncher, you've seen him do it, and he's done it with world-class fighters.
John Rawling hits the nail on the head. Money talks, and when you combine Usyk's reputation as the best of his generation with Moses Itauma's surging momentum after flattening Dillian Whyte, the financial pull is undeniable. Rawling suggests Usyk may not even want this fight, because right now, Moses is too fresh, too hungry, and too dangerous. But that's exactly why fans crave it. Usyk represents boxing IQ, discipline, and world-level experience. Moses represents explosive youth, fearlessness, and a wrecking ball style that doesn't wait around. This isn't just a passing conversation. Rawling sees it as the kind of fight boxing money men would push hard for, because it's generational. Old lion versus young lion, established king versus new challenger. When experience collides with firepower, history is made.
Well, money always talks, doesn't it? And come on, I mean, it's going to be vast, isn't it? And you know, if Turkey wants it, if the big noises over here, the big money men are moving towards that, then they'll be pushing for that. But at the moment, he needs rounds, and who are you going to put him in against to get him rounds?
Spencer Brown gives Moses Itauma credit where it's due. Beating Dillian Whyte isn't just about the knockout, it's about dismantling a seasoned top 10 heavyweight and doing it with style. Brown highlights Moses' speed and power, the two elements that kill at heavyweight level. That's why this call out to Usyk is so fascinating. Usyk has seen it all, from the cruiserweight days to conquering the heavyweight throne, but what he hasn't faced is a fearless 20-year-old who doesn't care about legacy or names. Speed kills, Brown says, and Moses has it in abundance. Usyk's defensive genius would be tested like never before, while Moses' explosiveness would meet the ultimate chess player. That's why Brown's words echo what many fans are thinking. This isn't just another prospect talking. Moses might be the real danger for Usyk.
I don't know what he beat tonight in Dillian. All week he looks a bit weak to me. I don't know if you saw him, but look, you've got to take your hat off to him. He beat a seasoned top 10 fighter, or he was a top 10 fighter, and he's such a nice kid. He's got every attribute you could want, and he hurts and knocks people out. Speed kills, and that's what he's got.
And when Joseph Parker weighs in, the excitement grows even louder. Joseph Parker, himself a former world champion, doesn't hold back. Moses Itauma is special. At only 20 years old, Parker says Moses has already shown speed, movement, ring IQ, and knockout power. That's not hype, that's recognition from someone who knows what it takes to reach the top. And it connects directly to Usyk, because Parker fought Usyk. He knows the level of skill it takes to even share the ring with him. For Parker to praise Moses like this shows how seriously the boxing world is taking the young star. And that's why the idea of Usyk versus Moses isn't a dream. It's a realistic mega fight. Usyk with his experience and Parker's respect, Moses with his unstoppable rise. Both colliding would be the ultimate clash of skill and power, brains and brawn. If it happens, it could define this generation.
I think he's a great talent. I think it's at 20 years old, he's put on this massive stage, fighting someone like Whyte who has the experience. But if you look at it, Moses ticks all the boxes in terms of speed, movement, ring IQ, probably packs power, you know. He's been knocking out everyone put in front of him, so he's a very special talent, and that's why everyone's excited about him.
And soon, even analysts begin debating whether Moses is already on Usyk's level. Adam Smith makes a fair point. Moses Itauma could beat most heavyweights right now, but Usyk and Dubois remain the true tests. That's exactly what makes this story electric. Usyk is the master of adjustments, the man who frustrates and outsmarts even the biggest opponents. Moses is raw, fast, and ferocious, a wrecking ball that doesn't respect names or reputations. Adam's view adds spice. Maybe Moses isn't ready yet, but that doubt is what fuels anticipation. Because every generation has that one fight, the young lion too hungry to wait versus the old master unwilling to give up the throne. Usyk versus Moses isn't just a fight, it's the narrative of boxing history repeating itself. Will brain stop brawn, or will speed and youth finally overwhelm the champion?
When is he ready? I think he could beat most heavyweights in the world, with the exception possibly of Usyk and maybe Dubois, possibly AJ. The top 3 or 4, he's not ready for them yet. Could he beat them tomorrow?
Dan Rafael focuses on the magnitude. If Usyk and Moses ever fight, it's not just about skill, it's about selling out arenas, even stadiums. Usyk brings worldwide recognition, especially in the UK, while Moses brings hype, freshness, and knockout power that fans crave. Imagine Wembley lit up, fans divided between a reigning king and a fearless 20-year-old calling him out. Dan's words remind us that boxing isn't only about belts, it's about moments that capture the sport's imagination. Usyk versus Moses would do exactly that. Usyk's style has made him beloved by purists, while Moses' explosiveness makes him the casual fan's dream. Combine them, and you get the biggest possible event in modern heavyweight boxing. That's why Rafael says this deserves the biggest stage, because it could be the fight that defines a new era.
He should get the opportunity. He's also, by the way, you take that fight between Usyk and Parker, because of the popularity that Usyk has generated in the United Kingdom, and the fact that Parker is a very well-known fighter in the UK as well. You could put that there, and I don't know if you're going to sell out Wembley Stadium on a fight like that, but you can sell out any arena.
And when legendary analysts weigh in, they don't rule out Moses, shocking the world. Teddy Atlas doesn't pull punches. He believes Moses Itauma could make Usyk fight a short night. That's a statement dripping with belief in Moses' talent, and it shows how seriously the boxing world is taking this call out. Atlas knows Usyk is a master technician, a man who broke down Joshua and humbled every heavyweight he's faced. But even Atlas admits Moses has the speed and power to turn a test into an explosive knockout. This isn't about underestimating Usyk, it's about acknowledging that youth and hunger can rewrite history. If Moses delivers under the lights like he did against White, Usyk could face the most dangerous night of his career, and that's why Atlas frames it as more than a test. This could be a generational upset, the kind of fight fans talk about for decades.
I think Moses could make it an early night. He could take what possibly could be a test, a step up, and actually ace it. I think it could be earlier than the odds makers even think.
And just when you think the hype can't grow stronger, respected trainers also put their stamp on Moses' potential. Peter Fury praises Moses, Itauma's talent, but also reminds us that it's early days, and that's exactly why a clash with Oleksandr Usyk would be monumental. On one hand, you have a young unbeaten knockout artist with speed and raw power. On the other, a master technician, a reigning champion, who's beaten every style thrown at him. Peter's words highlight the balance. Moses hasn't truly been tested, and Usyk is the ultimate test. That's what makes this fight special. It's not just another matchup, it's a question of whether raw youth can conquer refined greatness. Imagine the intensity. Usyk's defensive brilliance against Moses' ferocious combinations. If it happens, it won't just be another fight, it will be the measuring stick of how far Moses can go and whether Usyk can still hold off the next generation.